I tell you what, let's go to California, the home state of Alex Marlowe and Justin. Justin, we've got a couple of minutes left before we got to go to hard break. How you doing this morning, sir? Justin, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, I'm not trying to get off topic, but yeah, I just had a comment to make. I think it's constructive criticism. I called the night show on Friday because there was a caller that was talking about Trump agreeing with DACA to get the wall, and Rebecca disagreed with him, to no surprise, but then asked for callers to call in and disagree or agree. So I called in and agreed with DACA and told her why I believe that the people that came as children should be able to stay even if they're adults now, because they've lived here their whole lives, and they might have go ahead.
No,
and they might have kids and such things like that. You can't just send them back. It's never going to happen. The DACA kids are not going to go back. That would make us look insane. Okay, I could.
Why? Why would you say that?
Because if you were brought here when you were a child, and then you grew up here, and you have kids already that are American citizens, how are we going to send adults that are not from Mexico because they grew up here back to Mexico for political purposes? It just doesn't make any sense. I cannot see it. And I think I'm a sensible thinker. Okay, and I feel like Rebecca is making Breitbart look bad because you guys have done such a good job on the morning show. You guys decided to expand, and you took the opportunity to expand to the night show. And you guys, in my opinion, I'm not trash anybody, but Joel Pollack and Rebecca are nothing like Alex and you and Raheem. Okay, and my point is that Rebecca agreed that I was a challenging and interesting caller when she hung up on me. I was on air for about 12 minutes having a dialogue with her about this, and then she asked people to call in either agree or disagree. In my opinion, she cherry-picked callers for the next hour and 10 minutes. I swear, out of all the rest of the callers, only one caller was not talking about me, but he kind of touched on me. All the other ones, I'm not trashing our callers, but there's a lot of right-wingers, ultra-right-wingers, in my opinion, that listen to the show because they're ultra-conservative. Okay?
Hey, Justin, we got to jump. Justin, hang on. Why don't you hang on after news at the top of the hour? We'll bring you back. Justin in California, we're going to bring him back. We'll have Raheem Gassam join us, our London editor, Stephen K. Bannon, Alex Marlowe. Justin, thanks for the hat tip there. We're trying to train up that night crew. We're going to take a short commercial break. This time we're going to have news at the top of the hour, and we'll be back with Justin in California, Raheem in London. All next on a live January 1st, Breitbart News Daily. Welcome back to Breitbart News Daily. This is your host, Stephen K. Bannon, with my wingman, Alex Marlowe, the executive editor, I guess editor-in-chief, technically. I don't want to give you a field promotion on the first day of January there, Alex. Sirius XM 125, the Patriot Channel. Number is 866-95-PATRIOT, 866-957-2874. It's Monday, the 1st of January, 2018. Alex, how cold is it in Washington, D.C. this morning, sir?
Well, let me pull it up, Steve, but I have to say that I was in full winter regalia as I took the dogs around the block this morning. But I'll tell you that one thing that is quite amazing is that last night in Manhattan was the second coldest New Year's on record at 10 degrees. It was the coldest in 100 years. And the United States right now, of every country on the planet, has the coldest temperature relative to normal of any country on Earth. And I find this very interesting because if we're the primary cause of global warming and climate change, this is amazing how the left gets away with saying that this is about extreme temperature. As Rachel Maddow said, global warming is extreme temperatures of all kinds. Well, do you guys buy that? That's a direct quote. That global warming.
You gotta love her.
Yeah. You gotta love the brazenness of it. But it is an amazing thing because it is absolutely frigid. We're looking at the South. The Midwest, the upper Midwest, and New England in particular. I mean, it is brutal out there, and hopefully people will be safe. But I got to say, I got little Chip. I mean, he's a little terrier mix. He's not built for this stuff, Steve. I got to carry him around the block now. So it's this is cold times. This is cold times here.
We've got Raheem Kassam who's going to join us, our London editor, in a moment. Let's go back
degrees.
to Justin.
Sorry to cut in again.
You're double digits. We're single digits here in New England. Hey, Justin in California. So, what was it about DACA? We'll stop ragging on the night crew. Let's say this: Alex and I will take them under instruction. We'll put Raheem on it full time to get it sorted out. But talk to us about DACA. What's your point on DACA that you're trying to make?
All right. Well, I think it's important because when you guys extended the show to the night, I was so happy because I rarely can catch you guys in the morning, and I dig your guys' fight that you've brought to the liberals. I love the show. I've promoted the show to anybody that'll listen. I love it. And then at night, it just seemed like it turned like a bad direction when you weren't on. No offense. I'm not trying to pat you on the back or anything, but I'm just stating facts. My point on DACA was Rebecca's like, send them all back. Don't even give anybody a chance to stick around. I don't want anybody here illegally. But we have to understand something. When the kids came with their parents, there wasn't a discussion of, you're going to break the law with mommy and daddy right now, okay? I don't think that discussion happened. They came with their parents. If they were children, that's the only thing I'm saying should be an exception. If they were children when they came, they didn't choose to break the law. If they grew up here and assimilated here, they grew up here, I believe they should not be punished for something that their parents chose to incorporate them in when it came to breaking the law and migrating here illegally. My point is, if they're here their whole lives, they need to be able to stay because they're no different than me and you, except they didn't have an ID given to them.
There's one big difference. They're illegal. They're not citizens. Besides that, they're just like you and I.
Okay,
that's a pretty fundamental. It's a pretty fundamental difference, isn't it?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they were kids. We don't punish our kids like we punish adults. That's why when you
let me ask you. We're not trying to. Okay, but Justin, this is where I think you're missing the point. Well, nobody's trying to punish anybody. Let me ask you: if you do, and let's say you're going to advise the president this weekend, they're going to be at Camp David with McConnell and Ryan. They're talking about this whole thing, the wall, chain migration, all this. Tell me your advice to the president of the United States, Justin. What are you going to tell the president to do?
I really wouldn't know what to say to him because it's a tough job, and he's juggling a lot.
No, but listen. We're a populist network. And the populist network is that the people know just as much as the experts. So tell him, give him your opinion. What would you tell him to do?
Well, my opinion is, if they grew up here and they were kids, they didn't come here illegally, they should be able to stay because they didn't make the choice and they had to deal with living here and growing up here because past presidents allowed it to continue, and they might have kids now that are American citizens because they were born here. How are you going to go to somebody that's 35, 30 years old and say, you got to leave your kids here and you got to go now because something you did not choose to do, but because of our politics and we want to be ultra conservative, you're going? That just doesn't seem plausible to me. Send the parents. Anybody that came in the last couple of years, bye-bye. Send them back. But
what about, last thing, okay, that's what I want to get to. Are you saying that you believe that there will not, if they do amnesty for this group, do you think that if you and I were down in Central America, we would start heading north of the border because that means the United States is going to give amnesty in the future, does it not?
I'm not sure, but I said on my call without chain migration. And, Steve, if you would let me continue, I think it's pretty constructive criticism, and I think people need to understand what's going on. You guys don't want me trashing the night show, of course, but I'm telling you, Steve, when I make a point and she disagrees with the caller, she should not be allowed to cherry-pick callers for the rest of the show to destroy sincere, Breitbart-loving audience members that call in when she asks for callers. She destroyed me for an hour and 10 minutes with cherry-picked callers that had no argument. She contradicted herself and said I was a challenging and interesting caller. And then she cherry-picked, in my opinion, ultra-right-wingers that don't want anything that's going to take from them. And
okay, so Justin, brother, hang on. So I thank you for calling. By the way, I love the criticism. I want you to keep listening, but I'm not going to cherry pick. Hang on, Justin. Hang on, brother. I'm going to go. I'm not cherry picking, and I'll find out from the call board of last week if she cherry picked or not. It just might have been all the callers disagreed with you, but I'm going to go to the next caller that popped up about your call. Justin, I want to thank you very much for the call. Appreciate the criticism. Appreciate you listening. I want to go to Jason in New York. And Alex, I did not cherry pick this call, correct? This is just the next guy came in and said he wanted to comment specifically on Justin. Jason, you're not cherry picked. What do you got to say to Justin?
Well, I got something, and I think it's pretty straightforward and pretty matter of fact. They seem to want to blame everybody else for everybody's problem, DACA included. The real issue here is when you have a man and a woman who cross the border illegally, knowing full well what they're doing, popping out several kids after the fact, and then everybody's kind of scratching their head like, well, why can't they stay? Well, let's blame mommy and daddy because that's where the problem started. It's very simple. Is it not?
Well, Jason, hang on. Answer Justin's question. They didn't come here. They came here by their parents. They didn't know about it. They've lived here X amount of years. They've had kids now, or they've started lives, etc. How do you go about justifying sending them to a home that they've never really understood or know?
I understand the fact that, like, maybe they've grown up here, maybe they've become acclimated here. I understand that, but the bottom line is your parents didn't do the right thing, and unfortunately, you're going to have to pay the brunt of that.
Jason, thank you very much. It's Alex. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Alex, can you verify I did not cherry pick that call?
No.
Did I get a verification that's not cherry picked?
Yeah, you can get verified by me. Looking at the call board right now.
About anybody wants to respond to either Justin in California's on the DACA or Jason's rebuttal. Either one, we're going to take all callers on this.
You might not see it yet, but we have another response to Justin on Todd, line 1 in New York. Let's bring Todd.
In fact, let's go to Todd in New York. Let's go to Todd in New York. I see this right now. Line 1, Todd in New York. You're on Breitbart News Daily.
Good morning, fellas. Good morning, fellas. Happy New Year. In order to Justin there, I got news for Justin. If a child is brought here, yes, illegal, it is not that child's fault. But now he's gone to the point of, well, if it's a 35-year-old man and he has children of his own, you're going to tell him he has to leave and leave his children. No, he is well above the age of majority. He is past the age of 18. It is after that point, it is his responsibility. He knows he was brought here illegally. He is well above the age of 18. He has not put in the proper paperwork. He and his children will be sent home because his children are not American citizens. That is not.
Well, hold on, Todd. Todd used a word that is we got to stop on, which is home.
Oops.
So where's his home? If they've been here since they were 2 years old, and they've been here 20 years, where's home to them?
Home is where you hang your hat. I'm a truck driver.
They've been hanging their hat here for 20 years here, Todd. This is a tough question. Where's home?
Yeah, okay. Well, then I stand corrected. They need to be sent back to their country of origin then. They are not legal citizens. He is not a legal citizen. If he has been here for, 15 years over the age of 18, it is at that point his responsibility to become American citizen by putting in the paperwork. If he's sat here for 10, 15 years after that it's his fault. Then he's still illegal, whether he's brought here illegally or not. He has not made the effort to become a citizen.
Todd in New York, thank you very much. Justin in California threw down a marker. Jason in New York counted it. We've had a bunch of calls. We want anybody to call talking about DACA. Welcome back to Breitbart News Daily. Sirius XM 125, the Patriot Channel. Our number is 866-95-PATRIOT, 866-957-2874. Remember, it's an audience-centric show. You get 3 hours of the Socratic method every day from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Breitbart News Daily, and then again at night, 9 p.m. to midnight. Alex Marlowe and Stephen K. Bannon. Alex is our editor-in-chief. He's at the news desk. Stephen K. Bannon on assignment in New England, and it is frigid, down in single digits, as it is around much of the country. Snow covered here in New England. Let's go to Florida, where I'm sure it's a little warmer. Line 2, Gary in Florida. You're on Breitbart News Daily. You got Alex and Steve. How can we help you, sir?
Happy New Year to both of you.
Happy New Year,
Alex,
sir.
Once again, I love going to Breitbart News every day. I go there several times a day. I want to talk about DACA. Now, DACA is a finite number. I mean, there's a beginning and end to it.
An alpha and omega. Yep.
And we got to make a deal on DACA. We're not going to. If I'm a DACA child and I came here 20 years ago, and then I had a child, my child is a citizen.
Why do you say that?
Well, because they're born in the United States. So how are you going to deport my child? You know,
let's say you don't worry about the children. What the other one, the parents, or in this case, the kids of the DACA are here illegally. What are you going to do about that?
I'm going to make a deal.
So you're going to give you support amnesty.
Go ahead.
I said you support amnesty.
I didn't say that. I said I make a deal.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what all I support, but I make a deal in order to get what I want. And what I want is my total immigration reform.
And that, very quickly, that would include what? Tell me your total immigration reform package is what?
Well, no more chain migration. You build the wall, and the people.
Gary, do you think the Democrats ever give President Trump his wall under any circumstances?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because otherwise they'll lose every election from now till who knows when.
Gary in Florida, thank you very much.
I'm willing to make a deal on DACA.
Gary in Florida, thank you very much. Fantastic call. Let's go now to Alabama and Cindy. Cindy in Alabama, you're on Breitbart News Daily. Happy New Year, ma'am.
Well, Happy New Year to you, too. I just thankful for Breitbart and can't wait for 2018. It's exciting times, and see what happens with the MAGA agenda and Donald Trump. I think people are going to see his policies working, and that'll be great in 2018 and 2020. But I want to address this DACA. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. We're here. We're listening.
Well, let's not repeat the Reagan mistake. He was promised all sorts of stronger enforcements, but it's always a bait and switch. We know stronger enforcement.
Cindy, slow down for a second. Tell people what the Reagan. I don't think a lot of folks don't know that. They're listening this morning on the 1st of January, the first day of 2018. What did Reagan do, and why did he say later was his biggest mistake?
Well, in 1986, he legalized 2.7 million illegal immigrants and was promised all sorts of stronger enforcement measures, but it never came. And so, the Democrats had controlled. Obama ran on immigration in 2008. He promised immigration reform, and they never got it so. The Democrats don't want it. Remember, demographics is our destiny. It determines the future of our country. And to all those people, I think they should really go and look at these DACA documents, because I think all you had to do was come into the country, anybody under the age of 16, come in. It didn't matter if you were brought here by your parents. And to think that there's an end to it, because then all those poor people of 2008, that were born here, of illegal aliens. With the left, it never ends. And we already see that amnesty begets more amnesty. We already know that illegal enforcement measures lowers illegal entry, and I don't call it illegal immigration. It's illegal entry. And as far as amnesty, maybe these people that were brought here by their parents should maybe not face deportation. If they've proven they're working, they can get a green card. And if they prove that they go to the back of the line like everybody else to establish citizenry. And DACA should just end. It was an illegal program. It's unconstitutional. Just let it end. And let's go and talk about chain migration, ending it, ending birthright citizenship, building the border wall, enforcing our immigration rules. I think a great deal would benefit this country if we just enforce the rules already on the books. We don't need more legislation. We don't even enforce the legislation we've got. Why don't we start there and, support our people down there at the border in our enforcement measures, because we already have seen that it lowers illegal entry. But we should not repeat what happened to Ronald Reagan. And the Democrats don't want to fix immigration. They had time to fix immigration. They never addressed it. It's a driving issue for them, and they know that demographics changes our destiny. There are more voters for them, and I think we should not be naive in this debate. I love Kasim. He summed it up beautifully. I thought it was brilliant analysis, just brilliant.
Sydney in Alabama, thank you so much. Thank you for being a long-time listener, and thank you for calling in and sharing that on the first day of January in 2018. Alex, I want to turn to you now. This weekend is Mitch McConnell, and you got Mitch McConnell and you've got Paul Ryan going up for their big soiree at Camp David with the president, where they're going to lay all this out. What do you think they're going to run on him?
Yeah, well, they're definitely going to push for some sort of amnesty. This is something that the donor class has wanted. This is something that both establishments have wanted. I think if you took a secret ballot on of lawmakers in Washington on an amnesty for the Dreamers, I think you get 70 to 80% would vote for it. I think that the only chance that we have to stop it is to make them accountable and to have people understand that there can't be any amnesty. We cannot have a magnet. We cannot reward people for breaking the law. I understand that a lot of these circumstances surrounding the Dreamers are unfortunate. I know a lot of people that if you were in their shoes, you would do the same thing. You would want to bring your families to the United States, the greatest country that ever existed, but that's no way for us to run a society, and we have to explain to people, especially with no wall, there's no obligation for us to do anything to help illegal aliens become citizens, because we know that what's going to happen there is not to mention the political element, Steve, which isn't even one of the top factors that they all are undocumented Democrats, and don't think the Democrats don't know that. But just the fact of the matter is you got this open border, and it's just a magnet that is going to increase the amount of people flooding over, because the amnesty always extends beyond what is told to us. And so if Donald Trump becomes the president to bring in amnesty, it's going to absolutely destroy his credibility with the base. And I'll tell you, I don't know if the base will get over it. And Steve, NBC News was talking about how you're the voice of the base, and Breitbart's the voice of the base. Hopefully they're paying attention to these callers, and I think that there's a lot of people who are sympathetic to the Dreamers, myself included in some ways. But that said, Steve, I grew up in Los Angeles. There were tons of illegal aliens that were part of my life from very early on. And as Ann Coulter pointed out, the Dreamers who are out there storming Capitol Hill, making disruptions, making political stances, acting entitled, I don't know if I have more sympathy for them than I do for some of the people who came in more recently and are just looking to give their families a better life. I don't know if the Dreamers should be a protected class the way the Republican establishment talks about them. This is all what Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan are going to drop on President Trump, and they're going to say we can't get anything done unless you give amnesty. And it's totally bogus, and it's their old shtick.
Are they going to be sitting there talking about different financing alternatives for and showing architectural designs for the wall?
Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. By the way, that's the fun debate, Steve. It's like it's one of these things where I wanted a big, beautiful wall with a big, beautiful door, and then I was talking to the DHS guys about the bollard fencing, which my first thought was, oh, that's so weak. And then they were explaining it, and they were showing it, and I was saying, oh, wow, this is really cool. Let's debate that. Let's have a debate what type of wall we're getting. Then a couple years from now, we can talk about if there are any illegal aliens who haven't self-deported.
Let's go to Florida on line 2 and Frank. Frank in Florida, you've got Alex Marlowe, Stephen K. Bannon. How can we help you, sir?
Yes, hi. I want to talk about this amnesty joke. It's a joke. It's a farce.
Why say it's a joke?
Yeah, it's not going to lead to anything. DACA in itself, from the very beginning. For sure, let me start with, I myself am an immigrant myself. Yep. I immigrated here at 3 years old. I'm an American citizen. I served in the Marine Corps. I'm married. I have 2 wonderful children, but also born here. But DACA, to me, from the very beginning, when I heard about it, it seemed like this is a joke. This is just a tax. It's a tax with nothing to it. There's literally like 30 different ways for someone to become a resident and a citizen, like a regular pathway.
Yep.
Why can't they just do it? I did it. Why can't anyone else do it?
But by the way, Frank, before we bounce, we got a lot of calls. Who speaks for you? Who speaks for the people that came here that are legal immigrants, that did it the right way, that took all the time to do it, did all the paperwork, took their time, got in the back of the line, and did? Who speaks for you?
I personally don't know who's speaking for us because it doesn't seem like anyone is. I mean, honestly, I completely agree with President Trump. We do need border protection. We need. I mean, it's a country. We're a country. We're not like just some random territory that anyone can just walk through. This is a country. It has to have laws. It has to have something that unifies us. And our border is something else that unifies us. It's what makes us our own country.
Frank, fantastic call. Thank you very much. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you calling in the 1st of January. Okay, we'll take a short break. We got a bunch of calls we got to clean up. Sirius XM 125, the Patriot Channel, 866-95-PATRIOT, 866-957-2874. Short commercial break. We're going to turn with the rest of the callers in a moment.
We provide the news, you provide the opinion on Breitbart News Daily, only on Sirius XM Patriot, Channel 125.
Welcome back to Breitbart News Daily, Sirius XM 125, the Patriot Channel. Our number is 866-95-PATRIOT, 866-957-2874. It's Monday, the 1st of January in the new year. 2018 is the first day of the year. Wanted to get it started firing off the football, Mr. Marlowe. I think we succeeded in that, don't you?
Yes, of course, Steve, that we always love broadcasting on holidays, and it's a pleasure to be in the news business when you're workaholics like we are, because the news never stops. The news is hot this morning. President Trump attacking Pakistan, one of the coldest New Years in the history of the United States, and not to mention the look ahead as we see what the Republican establishment is going to try to trick the president into agreeing to with regards to this immigration debate that we have. Now, Steve, we were talking about last segment was so important because one of the callers was pointing out how unfair any amnesty is to any legal immigrants. And how come we focus on, and we know why, it's because of pure politics, but we never focus on, for example, we talk about the welfare state, how it's unfair to the taxpayer. We never talk about what is, we always talk about what's fair to the class of people that's going to get a handout. We don't talk about if it's fair to the person who buys into the system. How about with the amnesty debate? How come amnesty for people who broke the law, how is that fair to people who came into the country legally? And this is something that never gets brought up in the establishment press, and it's pure corruption.
That's what I was just talking to the last caller. I mean, who represents those guys? There's not many.
Yes.
Let's go to Texas on line 2, and Gary. Gary in Texas, you're on Breitbart News Daily. How can we help you, sir?
Good morning, Steve and Alex. Hey, I'm looking at the numbers, and if we send these folks back to their countries of origin, we're talking between 20 and 32 million, and if just 10% of them folks learned anything about capitalism in this country, what kind of change could they bring to their own country instead of coming over here and sucking off the teat of the American people?
Gary in Texas, thank you very much. Alex, this is something we talked about over the weekend. Some pieces have been handed to us. Nobody's talked about this part of it either. What about the benefit if they did return to their country of origin, of the benefit they could have to actually make their countries great again?
Yeah, well, apparently they feel like that's too tall an order. And again, how is that fair to the United States of America? Because other countries are so corrupt or destitute that people feel like they don't have any alternative. Again, why is that the problem for the United States of America? It's very unfortunate. I'm a big believer in doing charity. I love Christians who are out there doing a lot of missionary work. But it's not the responsibility of the United States government and taxpayers to take care and subsidize these other countries unless it's in our personal national security interest.
Gary, I think what you brought up is going to get a lot more interest in the days and weeks ahead as people talk about this.
We will make America great again.